I realized my future daughter-in-law was ashamed of me when she pressed a manicured finger into my back and whispered, "This way, quickly," then steered me through a narrow service door marked "Authorized Staff Only." The music from the engagement party dulled instantly. Laughter and champagne clinks faded behind us, replaced by the hiss of industrial vents and the sharp scent of bleach. The corridor was too tight for my heels, the walls scuffed by years of delivery carts. I caught my reflection in a stainless steel prep table, silver hair pinned neatly, black evening dress understated, posture straight. I looked like myself. That, apparently, was the problem. Belle Hastings released my arm and forced a smile that never reached her eyes. "The ballroom is very full," she said. "This will be more comfortable for you." Comfortable. Near the kitchen. I had spent 40 years building hotels like this one, the Alden on Market Square, down to the brass railings and the custom lighting that made people feel important the moment they walked in. Tonight, my name was nowhere on the programs. Belle had insisted. "Let's keep it elegant," she'd said, as if elegance were something you could lose by association. "I can wait inside," I said calmly. Her smile tightened. "The Hastings family has expectations. You understand." I did. Perfectly. From the corridor, I could see the edge of the ballroom through swinging doors, crystal chandeliers, navy linens, the Hastings crest projected in gold across the wall. My son Michael stood at the center, handsome in his tuxedo, nervous and proud. He hadn't seen this. Not yet. Belle smoothed her gown and checked her phone. "Just stay here a moment," she said. "I'll come get you when it's time for photos." Photos. The moment she needed proof of tolerance. She turned to leave. "Belle," I said. She paused, irritation flickering. "Yes. Do you know who owns this hotel?" Her laugh was quick, dismissive. "Of course. Alden Hospitality Group. Very reputable." "And the CEO?" She hesitated. "Some bored guy. Old money, I think." I nodded. "Enjoy your party." She left without another glance. I stood alone between linen carts and fire exits, listening to the muffled applause as Belle was announced. A memory surfaced. My first hotel purchase, a foreclosed property in Cleveland, my hands shaking as I signed papers no one thought a woman should be trusted with. I learned then that respect was rarely given. It was taken. Earned. Claimed. A waiter passed and froze. "Miss Crow." His eyes widened. We didn't know you were here." "Clearly," I said. He flushed. "Should I escort you?" "Not yet." I waited. 10 minutes later, I heard Belle's voice drifting down the corridor, sharp with panic. "Where is she?" "She's supposed to be here." I stepped forward as the doors swung open. The ballroom quieted. Heads turned. Michael's eyes found mine, confusion giving way to concern. Belle's smile collapsed. "There you are," she said too loudly. "We were wondering why I wasn't visible?" I asked, my voice carrying without effort. Years of boardrooms had taught me projection. A ripple moved through the crowd. Michael stepped toward us. "Mom, are you okay?" "I'm fine," I said. "Your fiancé was kind enough to show me the building's infrastructure." Belle laughed brittle. "Diana, please." "You put me in a service corridor," I continued, steady. "At my own hotel." Silence fell, heavy as velvet. Mr. Hastings cleared his throat. "Now, let's not make a scene." "I'm not," I said. "I'm making something else." I turned to the crowd. "Good evening. I'm Diana Crow, founder and CEO of Alden Hospitality Group. We're delighted to host you." Gasps. Whispers. Phones lowered. Belle's face drained of color. Michael stared at me, then at her. "You said my mother worked in operations." I said she was involved. Belle snapped, then stopped herself. "Enough," I said quietly. "Michael, may I have a word?" We stepped aside. His voice trembled. "Did she really?" "Yes." He looked back at Belle, who stood frozen beneath the chandelier, suddenly very small. "Why?" She rushed forward. "Because appearances matter. You know my family." "My mother matters," he said. The room held its breath. Belle's eyes flicked around, calculating exits. "You're overreacting." "No," Michael said. "I'm finally seeing you." I felt pride then. Not for the empire I'd built, but for the man my son was becoming. Michael removed the ring. Belle's gasp cut through the silence like glass. "This engagement is over," he said. The Hastings erupted, voices overlapping, outrage spilling. Belle's mother hissed something about humiliation. Her father demanded explanations. I met Belle's eyes. "You mistook discretion for weakness," I said. "That's an expensive error." Security approached, uncertain. "Escort the Hastings family out," I told them gently. "We'll count the bar." As they were led away, Belle looked back at me, fury and disbelief tangled together. "You planned this." "No," I said. "You did." Michael took my hand. "I'm sorry." "So am I replied. Outside, thunder rolled over the city. And I knew this wasn't the end. Because Belle had secrets, and the Hastings had more to lose than pride. The morning after the engagement imploded, the Alden lobby felt almost sacred. Sunlight spilled across marble floors, bouncing off the gold-accented railings, the very railings I'd installed myself. Guests murmured in hushed tones, staff hovered a little straighter, and somewhere behind the desk, a bell chimed with precision that mirrored my pulse. I didn't sit in the CEO's office. I walked the halls. I liked to see the empire alive, thriving, not just in spreadsheets but in its heartbeat, the employees, the service, the care. Michael followed silently. His tuxedo from last night hung awkwardly over a chair, still crisp from Belle's glittering critique. He looked older than his years, as though the weight of witnessing his fiancée's true colors had aged him overnight. "I can't believe she did that," he said finally, voice low. "Tried to hide you like you were a janitor, not my mother." I shook my head. "She didn't hide me because she doubted me. She hid me because she thought her reputation was more important than decency. Some people mistake wealth for wisdom." He looked at me, eyes wide. "Mom, why didn't you just embarrass her?" I smiled faintly. "Because exposing arrogance doesn't require theatrics. It requires truth. And it's far more effective when people see it themselves." He ran a hand through his hair. "I saw it. And now I don't think I can ever look at her the same way." "Good," I said softly. "You shouldn't. Character is everything. Never forget it." The staff had started to clear the corridors, but whispers followed me everywhere. Some people knew me, some didn't. None of them could pretend ignorance when Diana Crow, founder and CEO of Alden Hospitality Group, had quietly appended the night's spectacle. That kind of revelation carries weight. It changes perception, sometimes forever. I went to the kitchen service entrance, the same corridor where Belle had tried to humiliate me, and stood for a moment, hands on the cool stainless steel. The smell of polished floors and freshly baked bread reminded me why I worked so hard, to create spaces where dignity mattered more than pomp, and service meant more than status. A soft knock came at the door. Lila Hastings, Belle's younger cousin, peeked inside. Her face was pale, unsure. "Miss Crow," she whispered. "Yes." She swallowed. I just wanted to say I saw everything last night. I never liked the way Belle treated people, but her voice faltered. Seeing her mother react, it was something else. I studied her for a moment. "You're learning a lesson, Lila. Remember it. Family ties don't excuse cruelty. Wealth doesn't excuse arrogance. And hiding behind someone else's status only magnifies the weakness in your own character." She nodded, silent. Then she left, a little taller than when she arrived. I returned to my office and looked out over the skyline. The engagement party was yesterday. The headlines were already forming in gossip columns and social feeds, but they didn't matter. The real story was private, intimate, and far more consequential. A son recognizing the emptiness behind a dazzling facade, a fiancé exposed for her shallow ambition, and a mother reclaiming her respect, not with anger, but with calm, unshakable authority. By late afternoon, Michael joined me in the corner office. He had made calls to family, trying to repair some bridges, but mostly he listened to the staff and managers recount what had happened. "They didn't know," he said finally. "Not really. They didn't understand who you are or how you built this empire." "Most people don't," I said. "And that's fine. They're not the measure of worth." He leaned against the desk. "I think I do now. You always did. You just needed to see it in action." The phone rang. It was a media outlet requesting an interview. eager to frame the story as a scandal. I declined politely, then thought better. Michael raised an eyebrow. Mom, I'll say this, I told him. Human dignity is priceless. It can't be bought or rented, and it certainly can't be hidden behind titles or wealth. Let others chase illusions. We lead with character. He nodded, proud, almost in awe. I hope everyone learns that lesson the hard way. I smiled faintly. Some will. Others will never understand. But the ones who matter, the staff, the family that truly respects you, those are the people who define legacy, not appearances. Evening fell over Market Square. Lights glimmered across the hotel's facade, reflecting the effort, risk, and resilience it took to rise to the top. I walked the balcony, feeling the quiet hum of life below. I thought of Belle, her fury, her humiliation, her narrow vision, and understood fully that her failure wasn't just yesterday. It was years of prioritizing status over substance. Michael joined me, quiet now. So, what happens next? I turned to him, gaze steady. We continue building. With honesty. With integrity. With respect. And we make sure no one ever doubts what this family stands for. Because true success is earned, not flaunted. He smiled. I get it now, Mom. I really do. Thunder rumbled in the distance, a reminder that storms pass and reveal what is real. I clasped Michael's shoulder. Let's go back inside. We've got work to do, and lessons to live by. And as we stepped back into the hotel that bore my name, I felt a quiet satisfaction that no party, no insult, and no social pretense could ever take away. The Hastings family had been shown the mirror, and the reflection was undeniable. The night ended not with revenge, but with clarity, dignity, and the unshakable truth: a person's worth is never defined by someone else's shallow judgment.